Hey everybody, Josh here for Argonaut Wine and Liquor. Today is our Whiskey Wheel event. We've got a bunch of awesome allocated bottles. Come up, spin the wheel. First 200 or so people are going to get to do a tasting with 4 bottles of 2 from the Pappy Antique collection and Jack 12 and Elmer T. Lee. As you can see, the line's really going. First person got here at 5 a.m. this morning, but come on down, give it a shot. Cheers, everybody. Hey everybody, Josh here for a special announcement for Whiskey Wednesday for Argonaut Wine and Liquor. First of all, thank you to everybody who showed up for the Whiskey Wheel on Saturday. It was an awesome event. We ended up doing about 600 total individual people through the line, over 700 spins, so we are so happy to have been able to host you guys. Today, to help me with my special announcement, we have Jack Choate from Heaven Hill. They're whiskey ambassador for the entire Western U.S. Yep. And we're going to run through some awesome whiskeys here, and I will tell you all about the special announcement at the end. So first up in our glass, I believe we got the small batch, right?
Yeah, so the Elijah Craig small batch, what I like to call my daily drinker. This is a product that we put out from Heaven Hill originally in 1986. And, you know, fast forward to 2023, it is just going gangbusters. It's our traditional mash bill, which we call Heaven Hill Regular or HH Reg. We're distilling that the majority of the days out of every year. And what this is the product of is barrels that have aged anywhere in the 8 to 12 year range. Small batch for us is defined as about 150 to 300 barrels at a time. And it's perfect. As far as I'm concerned, you know, I said it's my daily drinker, so it's neat, rocks, old-fashioned. I love a Boulevardier with Elijah Craig small batch. Let's give it a taste. What do you think?
Absolutely. Cheers.
So, you know, I don't talk a lot about esoteric tasting notes. You know, we're drinking bourbon, we're drinking American whiskey, so vanilla, caramel, brown sugar, those flavor notes are just exploding out of the glass when you hear the nose. I can still get the aromas from that sip that I just took. And that, for me, as I said, I think it's the perfect bourbon for every occasion. So
totally. And I love for your guys' small batch products that you bottle at 94 proof. Mm-hmm. I think, you know, that gives the whiskey some versatility. You can do different things with it, right? You're not going to water it down too much with a drop or a cube, and it'll stand up in a cocktail as well. So yeah, this is, you know, for an everyday drinker, this guy is, you know, a go-to of mine personally, and I just love the small batch.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying. I think it's perfect for every occasion, and exactly how you just defined it, the proof, the age, how it stands up. It's just a wonderful experience. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that plays perfectly into the next whiskey, which we have here, which is a newer release, which we released back during the time that we don't talk about anymore, right? 2020. Elijah Craig Toasted Barrel. So this is a similar product to this, right? Both 94 proof. Same idea of small batch, same idea of barrel mingling, 8 to 12 years. But what's different between the two is when we do this, we get the batch right. We add water, get it down to bottling proof at 94. With this, we get the batch right. We put it back in another brand new oak container that has been both toasted and charred. So we're keeping to the rules of straight bourbon whiskey in here. This sits in a brand new oak container that's been toasted and charred for about 6 to 8 weeks. And it really brings out those s'mores flavors, if you will, right? You know, think about toasting and charring, right? Toasting is when you put the marshmallow on top of the fire when you're out camping. Charring is when you shove that sucker down in the bottom of the fire, pull it out, it's on fire. It's the same idea in barrel toasting, barrel charring, right? And you're pulling out those different flavors. That's why I think this does have some s'more capabilities, some s'more reminders, if you will.
Yeah, and this guy, I mean, you know, toasted barrel bourbons have become a huge trend in the industry. And to me, this was really the one that kind of put it on the map, at least for me. You know, I think there might have been one or two beforehand, but the one that first really got popular really was, you know, sought after. I mean, we couldn't keep it in stock for forever. We still can't. That was this. So it really, to me, this bottle put toasted barrel bourbons on the map.
For sure, and you know, from the process that I just outlined, like that's how we're really trying to differentiate ourselves from those other bottles that are out there. Following the U.S. standards of identity and using yet another oak container that is brand new and has been charred, right? So a little bit of semantics, but following the laws to a T.
Yeah, I love how, you know, a lot of the toasted barrel bourbons you can't put straight on there anymore, and you know, you guys took the time and take the extra effort to really make it so you can keep the quality across all your marks and you know, still be able to have straight on the label, which I think is really cool.
You can keep straight on the label, but you have to add finished or finished in or something like that. As you can see on the label, it just says toasted barrel, so we don't have to add that because we're using brand new oak containers that have been charred throughout the whole process. So that guy came out in 2020. Our Elijah Craig Rye came out in 2019. Very quickly was lauded by Whiskey Advocate as their number 7 overall whiskey that year. Of course, Elijah Craig was the father of bourbon, but we felt like the Elijah Craig brand really needed a rye to stand up and highlight Kentucky ryes, right? Because Kentucky ryes are becoming a big part of the American whiskey landscape, right? You know, you have these historic brands that have come from Pennsylvania, that have come from Maryland, and we felt as a leading distiller of great Kentucky whiskeys, we needed to have one that was specifically ours. And in this Elijah Craig Rye, I think you really highlight the corn influence, right? Our mash bill for our rye whiskey is 51% rye, 35% corn, and 14% malted barley. And that 35% corn really does shine through. And being a Kentucky distillery, where a lot of the corn is grown, we're really proud of that. And, you know, first bottle of that I got, finished it in the first night making old fashions with a buddy. So I think there's some similarities in drinking these two. You know, they have versatile. Going back to the toasted barrel for a second, I love it neat. I think when you start adding ice and other things to it, it may take away a little bit from that toasted barrelness, if you will. But these, I think, are just so versatile in so many cocktails.
Yeah, it's funny you say, you know, your first bottle of this went really quick. So the first time I got to try Elijah Craig Rye was at a, you know, whiskey tasting night with a bunch of buddies, and a friend had brought a bottle back from like North Carolina or something. It wasn't even available in Colorado yet. And I tried it and I was like, holy crap, like that is awesome. And I kept pestering my rep. I was like, when's it coming to Colorado? When's it coming to Colorado? When's it coming to Colorado? So I'm another awesome just daily drinker, something, you know, not going to break the bank, but you can use so versatilely, you know, rocks, neat. I mean, I think that would make an awesome Manhattan. So yeah, that's what I love about these whiskeys. You can do so much with them. Yeah,
100%. I mean, I've found that, you know, as of late, this is the bottle that I'm bringing to parties, to when I get invited over to friends' houses, whatever, because it is that good and it's such a versatile audience as well. So cheers.
Cheers.
Little Elijah Craig Rye. This is a great Wednesday. We're, you know, 3 in before 3 o'clock, right?
Well, and another thing I really think is cool about this one, it's got like a really subtle smoky note to it. That you don't get in many other ryes. It's almost like a cigar smoke. And, you know, a lot of ryes that I've tried, even the Kentucky style, sweeter style, don't really have that. That's kind of a very unique note in this one to me.
Yeah, I've not yet heard that before, but, you know, whiskey is a very personal experience, right? You know, we get asked a lot, like, how should I drink it? What do you drink? It's like, well, at the end of the day, you're drinking it, so enjoy it. Enjoy what you're drinking, and I'd love to hear about your personal drinking experience, right? And, you know, all of these are aged, initially at least, in a level 3 oak container that has been charred. So in the, you know, middle age range for this, and that, you know, 5 to 10 year age range, you're able to pull out some of those barrel notes. So that's cool. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course.
And then, last but definitely not least, the creme de la creme of the Elijah Craig family, the Elijah Craig 18 single barrel. So this is a, you know, HH Reg still that we're talking about, and this is a barrel that has sat in one of our rick houses for 18 years. And when it is deemed ready and it is deemed Elijah Craig 18 single barrel worthy, that barrel is pulled, it's dumped, and it is water is added to get that down to 90 proof, which is what we bottle it at. Comes out once a year, and it is a great day when the first bottles of the new Elijah Craig 18 annual release come out.
Yeah. Oh man. I mean, when we were trying this one earlier, before we went on camera, I mean, it is just so rich, so flavorful. I mean, I don't like to use the word smooth, but it just goes down so easy, even at 90 proof.
I love to use the word smooth. People hate it. And I'm like, it's smooth. Like,
right.
But then it finishes, and it's like, I came up with this tasting note a couple weeks ago. It's like a jubilee in your mouth after it finishes, and that whiskey, the remnants are still, all over the inside of my lips and my tongue and my cheeks. It's a wonderful experience, and that is 18 years in a barrel, right? You're not getting, as Connor O'Driscoll, our master distiller, refers to as dirty old stick, which you may get in some extra aged whiskeys, right? You're getting a smooth experience. You're getting those vanillas, those caramels, but you're also getting, some of that smoke that you talked about in the rye a little bit, I think, as well, that barrel influence, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, and, obviously it's a single barrel product, so in theory, every bottle you get will be a little bit different, which is kind of fun. So you can, play around with it, keep track of the barrels you liked, things like that, which I always love with single barrels. Yeah,
I mentioned to you earlier before we went on camera, our master taster, Tawny Godey, and she's tasting hundreds of samples every day. And, she talked about this where she is trying to keep it consistent, but at the end of the day, she's one person, and, it's a range. So generally speaking, we stick in that range, and this is a hell of a good bottle we've got here. So
yeah. Well, hey, Jack, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
For everybody watching, thank you for tuning in. We've got an allocated table release. We're going to be releasing what we have left from the Whiskey Wheel, as well as some awesome stuff from Heaven Hills. So everything you see here will be available at the store. Obviously these two will be on the table, as well as our private barrel. And then, these guys are on the shelf all the time. So come on down. We got a table release out at the store right now. Cheers.
Oh, wow. I'm going to head down there myself. Cheers.
Cheers.